Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big drama going down today in the VCT world, not just in the Americas last night with Crew Esports, but also most certainly in the Pacific. Bleed Esports, they look to be making a roster change imminently, and as of yesterday, Ye was spotted no longer in the starting lineup. They were playing with their coach Legia instead. What is going on out there? Could Ye possibly return to the team? Are they going to trial alternatives in the very near future? Scary gives his comment on this as well. Very much interested your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to dive into first of all. We've got to talk about some drama as well. Chemistry is important, but so is making sure that you're actually not suspended by the league, because this statement was made this morning, and this is pretty wild to me. So, VALORANT challengers, Malaysia and Singapore, talk about JH from Disguise. So, former player on, I'm just going to call him J, former player on Disguised, or on Bleed Esports, right? So, he was on Bleed Esports, now he's on DSG. So, man, DSG, they might just be cursed, I'm not going to lie. So, anyway, they are currently effectively the Bleed Academy team. Now, what VALORANT say, and this is obviously, you know, organised by Riot Games, Riot are down here, effectively making the statement. J from Disguise is receiving provisional suspension from the VCT Malaysia Singapore due to suspicion of match fixing during the tournament. Fair play and integrity are paramount in our competitions. So this is what they say. We regret to inform you of a recent incident involving one of our players. A thorough compliance review, it has been determined that a member of Team Disguised, as we say, is under suspicion of participating in a match-fixing scandal before joining VALORANT Challengers 2024 Malaysia and Singapore. So who knows exactly when, but because before he was on Disguise, I think he was on Bleed at some point last year. So that would be interesting. Consequently, we are issuing a provisional suspension from participating in all Riot Games esports until they, you know, further look into this. So, wow, that's pretty crazy to me. Every so often, something like this happens and you think, wow, what is happening here? So anyway, the player himself actually responds and says, hey, can you contact me, please? This is the other point. That they issued this announcement before even getting in touch, before even saying that this is going to be happening. So he says, look, I don't match fix. I never participated in any activity involving it. Please, before putting the statement out, I wasn't informed about any ongoing investigation or verified anything on my ends. These allegations will hurt my reputation severely, especially since no due diligence was done in even contacting me to investigate beforehand. So pretty crazy. I mean, you might expect if they're going to suspend someone for them to say, hey, like, we're investigating you for this, you're going to get suspended, and at least they would have been aware. Now, speaking to the guy himself also might make sense, because if you're trying to put together pieces on if he match fixed or not, if you guys aren't familiar with match fixing in sports, the way that it tends to work is either, you know, usually it's not the player themselves, usually someone will come along to the players and they will say, hey, if you throw this game, I'll give you, you know, $2,000 or something. And what they'll do is they'll bet, you know, 20,000 on that team losing the game, and then everyone wins. Apart from competitive integrity and the fact that it's, you know, very much illegal in terms of the rules. So this is what Jay says, and then he actually goes on to say this. Hi guys, they've now reached out to me and will be communicating about the issue together. I stand by my statement that I don't match fix and have not participated in such activities. I'll do my best to comply with the investigations done by the team. So yeah, that's kind of all we know for now, but it's quite the story to kick off the day. Man, the drama really never ends. Now, speaking of the Pacific, this is how things concluded. I also don't really understand why the formats are so out of whack in terms of the Pacific is already done. The playoffs already begin in the Pacific in a couple of days. In the Americas, we still won't know what teams are going to be in the playoffs by the time the, you know, the teams in the Pacific region are actually determined to be going to Shanghai. It's kind of wild to me. Now, this was also another bit of drama. RRQ, 3-2 for these guys. So, respectable performance. They will not be going to the playoffs, but T1, who are 2-4, will. Now, sure, you've got to look at both angles of this, just because while it doesn't look fair, at the same time, RRQ and everyone else in this group played all of these teams. So, they didn't do as well as the other teams in their group did against this set of players. And at the end of the day, if you're the fourth best team against those set of 5 teams from 6 teams, then it probably makes sense you don't make it. I don't think the format is good, to be honest. I would prefer, if you are going to have 11 teams, just to make it one division, play a single round robin, and then the top 6 will make it. There's always going to be dodgy qualifiers or, you know, tiebreakers, right? But I think that would have been better than this, because it just kind of feels wrong that a team with 2 wins makes it out of 6 games and a team with 3 wins out of 5 doesn't. I get it, but it just, you know, from the outside looking in, doesn't necessarily seem like a great situation. Bleed, by the way, were trash, 1 in 5, and they're going to blow it up. We saw this in Mervin the other day, their founder, that, yeah, there's no way that they're going to stick together. Basically, he said, I don't like losing, something's going to happen. And Scary says, all ending lead to new beginnings, which kind of implies things are going to be happening. And this was then said yesterday and spotted yesterday that Bleed were scrimming without Ye in the roster. And in fact, Coach Legia, of course, former player, if you guys followed like Counter-Strike back in the day for Big and stuff like that. I think he was coaching them. I think he was playing them for some time. But anyway, he's on Bleed now. And he was playing for them instead of Ye. Now, this one screenshot we saw this, Ye was offline, Legia was in. So, you know, it could be, oh, Ye's got to deal with some personal thing, or he's, you know, taking the day off because he's unwell or something, and therefore their coach is subbing in. But in all likelihood, this is indicative of what's going to be happening at Bleed. Especially because Tanmay, who actually put this out publicly, said the following, because there was some speculation, understandably, on the Reddit. Okay, you know, could he be on an alt account? Is the coach just joining in to see how he's performing? Like, you know, how's it going? Are we convinced that this is true? The Ye isn't there and Legia's in instead? Because you'd presume if Legia's in and Ye's gone, that's, you know, they're biding their time there to find a replacement for Ye or maybe make another change. Ye's not performed well. The feeling is that maybe internally Ye hasn't contributed successfully to a good team dynamic. There's obviously been lots of speculation on this from Gangster and others over the last couple of days. But as Tanmay says, I confirmed before tweeting he was not on an alternate account. I can't say much, but I've confirmed with someone from Bleed that, you know, that this actually was happening. And he confirmed as well that Legia was playing. So, yeah, Tanmay, the information is that, yeah, this was happening. Ye was gone, not scrimming with them, which is surely indicative that Ye's going to be gone. And if Ye is gone from Bleed, man, I mean, where next at that point? Like, it might be to the retirement home, I'm not going to lie. I just don't see what happens next at this point, unless a tier 2 team decides that Ye is the place to go. But the issue is that, well, we saw what happened with DSG last year. That did not end especially well. So, wishing the best for Ye and the entire team. At the end of the day, Bleed were terrible. They had to make some sort of moves. Ye gone is a surprising one, but it is a move nonetheless that could be expected. Sen as well were, I think, probably playing some sort of content thing yesterday, but at least they were spotted ahead of a crucial game against Fury in a couple of days, getting some time in together. This is just notable as well that Fnatic play Na'Vi. The winner of this game qualifies for sure, but it looks pretty likely, it's definitely possible, that the loser of this game doesn't make it. It's funny that Na'Vi, they were in position, it looked like they were indomitable. There was no way they were going to be not making it to the playoffs. But all of a sudden, it actually is possible now that if Na'Vi lose and Heretics and Gentlemates win, which is maybe unlikely but possible, then Na'Vi don't make the playoffs. But if Fnatic lose and Vitality and BBL win, then Fnatic don't make the playoffs, which is definitely plausible. So yeah, this is pretty crazy, I'm not going to lie. But in the Americas, we did have a big series result last night. Crew Esports versus 100 Thieves, a 2-1 dub for Crew. Crew, as I said yesterday, needed 2 map wins to secure their spot in the playoffs, not over 1 series, but over 2 series. So they just needed to lose both series they played, but win 1 map in each of them, they would be fine. But obviously, if you win a series, that locks in the job. And this was like, man, Crew, what a team these guys are. It's fascinating to watch every year that Crew somehow go from being a team that looks shaky. I mean, 0-9 last year. Then they put together that miracle run through the LCQ to qualify for the World Championship. Now they look like a genuine world beater team. Like, these guys are legit. 100T did not even play bad this series. Sure, Asuna had a rough one. Boostio had a rough one. But I think 100T are actually looking pretty good right now. They play NRG in a few days' time. There is a genuine chance that 100T beat NRG. I think there's no doubt in my mind that is absolutely possible. But Crew right now are honestly different gravy. I mean, it was 13-7 on the Sunset. 100T bounced back very well on the Breeze. And then it goes to a split decider. A remarkable split game, it's got to be said. But yeah, it was 13-8 for Crew in the end. And they did really well on their defensive side to close out the series. So what a result from Crew. And that locks these guys in with a 5-0 record. They've dropped only 2 maps so far, and they will be in a prime position to qualify for Shanghai. So these guys, and just the Latin American region in general, has looked really strong lately, and it's just great to see the turnaround from these guys like, you know, Kesnit and the others playing out of their skin. So Crew are 5-0. In terms of, like, this group was so stacked. Crew, Cloud9, G2, NRG, Sen, and Crew have, they've not played in their own group, but playing the teams that these guys have played, they've crushed it, They're sitting here at 5-0 with a massive round count differential. So yeah, 100T I still think have played pretty well, and 2-2, they are going to make playoffs. 100T, it's kind of wild that again 100T being 2-2, they're going to be fine. They can even just get pissed on their last series by NRG. They're still going to make it no problem because they have weaker teams, of course, in their group. Fury and MIBR are done. Crew are in. Liv are in. 100T are in. Everyone else is still up for grabs. So it's a few days off now until we see what happens here in the conclusion. But as we said yesterday, what Sen need to happen is they need to slam Furia, bad, absolutely demolish them, because they need the round differential to go up. They need 100T to beat NRG, and then they need Loud to beat G2. But, everything else that happens is still up for debate. So very much enjoy your thoughts in the comments below. As Asuna says, played poor individually, lots to learn, ready for playoffs. That's the point now for 100T. They've got to try and make it through. I think the other thing that I needed to mention as well was the playoff bracket here in the Pacific, because here we go in the Pacific side, it looks like this. And this is how it's going to be reflecting in the Americas as well. The top teams from both groups, the number one seed is lovely, because if you're number one seed, you have to win one game to make it to Shanghai, which is what is true for Gen.G and DRX. So it's Team Secret T1, it's PaperX Talon. I mean, man, we're going to probably get DRX PaperX again here if that goes through, which would be very interesting indeed. But the team in these games, one game takes you to the upper final, and that, of course, that will secure you top 3, which is enough to make it to Shanghai. So that's why this, number one seed is massively crucial, and why Crew are in a lovely position, because Crew Esports, they are going to play a very favourable game in their match, assuming that they do end up the number one seed, which I'm pretty sure they must do, given, the way things look. And the number one team in the other group is probably going to be Liv. So this loss for 100T was actually kind of important, because they're not going to have the favourable seeding, which means that it's going to be a significantly harder time making it through the playoffs. So very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.